What is a flat fee MLS listing? We'll demystify this topic for sellers in this following video. I'm Chris at HouseIt. In case you haven't heard of the platform, HouseIt is the largest for sale by owner and buyer commission rebate company in New York City since 2014. So, a flat fee MLS listing. You may have searched online, looked around for alternatives to selling without a broker or perhaps paying less than a standard 6% broker commission to sell. A flat fee MLS listing is exactly as it sounds. A seller pays a flat fee to a broker to list his or her property on the local MLS and any associated websites that syndicate automatically from the MLS. Typically what happens is a seller will pay a flat fee of anywhere from several $100s to even over $1,000 to a local discount broker, and the broker will then do what's called an entry-only listing and input the listing into the MLS on the seller's behalf. Obviously, only brokers are only allowed to input listings into the MLS, so the listing will be under the broker's name, not the seller. The broker will then co-broke on the seller's behalf. So one of the main points of doing a flat fee MLS listing is getting access to the MLS so you can offer commission to buyer's agents. So to effectively do this, your listing needs to be in the MLS where it is contractually co-broked with other agents. What this means is when a broker lists your property into the MLS, he or she also inputs a commission that is contractually offered to all other broker members of the MLS. For example, let's say your listing broker puts 2.5% or 3%. In that case, if a cooperating broker, in other words, a buyer's broker, brings a customer, which ends up purchasing your property, then he or she will be owed that 2.5% or 3% regardless of whether you end up paying or not. In other words, your listing broker is on the hook contractually. This is why co-broking or putting listings into the MLS is so effective, because buyer's agents know they'll get paid. In a flat fee MLS listing, after a flat fee is typically paid upfront, the listing broker will then ask the seller to sign a flat fee listing agreement. This listing agreement, once signed, will allow the broker to list the property onto the MLS. The listing process can take anywhere up to 2 business days for the listing to syndicate into the MLS and all relevant websites. Keep in mind that once a listing is entered into a MLS system, typically the MLS will then automatically syndicate the listing to a variety of third-party websites, many of which you've heard of, such as Zillow or Realtor.com. In New York City, it would be StreetEasy, New York Times, and other sites which you've heard of. One important thing to note with a flat fee MLS listing in certain areas, such as New York City, is that there may be other names for the de facto MLS in the area. For example, in New York City, where we're based, the MLS is actually not technically an MLS because it is not affiliated with the National Association of Realtors, which you have to be a member of in order to call yourself an MLS. So the broker database in New York City is unaffiliated. It's called the REBNY RLS. It's operated by the Real Estate Board of New York, or REBNY, and it operates much the same way as a MLS. So in New York City, the term would be a flat fee RLS listing, which we are happy to offer here at HouseIt. So what next after your broker lists your property on the MLS or RLS? Well, what typically happens in a flat fee MLS listing is once inquiries come in related to your property, the broker will then typically forward it to you for you as the seller to handle. This means any showing requests, any scheduling, any negotiation, or anything else related with your property after it's been listed. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Hit subscribe, as we do have regular content, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to email us at team@houseit.com. Our website is www.houseit.com. You can find that below. Please do check us out if you have any questions about buying or selling real estate and you want to save money on broker commissions in New York City. Thank you so much.